I don't think I'd have to tell you that. You'll do a good enough job.
Okay. I would like to call to order the March 13th Planning Committee meeting to order, please. Roll call.
Jerry Wells.
Here.
Kendra Zumick.
Here.
Angie Claycamp.
Here.
Bernie Hausberger.
Here.
Don Bruce.
Here.
Rick Slybaum.
Here.
Dave Eggers.
Present.
Dave Early.
Here.
Brian Terrell.
Here.
Jason Kleber. Shell Parker.
Here.
And I will make the announcement that Shell is on our board, has been appointed to our board. Welcome.
Thank you.
It probably feels a little different sitting up here than in the crowd.
It does.
We welcome you to the board and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any corrections to the previous meeting minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as stated.
Second.
Okay, I'll take a motion to accept. All in approval say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Jeremy, first case, please.
First case tonight is PCM 1-25. The Avenue is the name of the subdivision. Cornwell, Mr. Cornwell is the petitioner as well. Petitioner is requesting a preliminary plat approval, and it is running on West 2nd Street. Tell us about it.
It's a project that we've been planning for about 3 years. We were originally come to the city about putting apartments, and then we backed it off because we wanted to see more green than a bunch of buildings. So we're proposing to put 15 buildings there. ISL is doing our plans, all the engineering, and they're here representing us today with any questions about that. RTL is Shannon and I. We also own Cornwell Construction. If you have any questions about it, I believe you have it in front of you.
Thank you.
We'll do questions in a second. Is anybody here in favor, in the audience, to speak in favor?
My wife don't say anything, I'm gonna be really upset.
I don't know, she's really talkative. Okay, anybody opposed? No? Okay. Questions by members of commission?
I'm just curious what the price point will be on these houses.
They're not houses, they're duplexes.
Oh, duplexes, okay.
I don't have a question. I just tell the board that this got rezoned in 2023. It was residential. We got it to R3 for our duplex subdivision. So that's what this is a duplex. They've already been through the rezone a couple years ago. So.
And you're gonna rent these all, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh. And what is that price range?
You'll have to speak up, Jerry, I'm sorry.
The price range of your rentals?
But we're around 1,400 a unit.
And how many bedrooms?
Depends on which unit you do. If you do a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom, of course, the 3 bedrooms are more, but the average 2 bedrooms are around 1,400. And we're currently getting that with other buildings that we have similar to this in Seymour.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anybody else?
And I did look at the lots and they meet our lot sizes and all that. But Bernie, I think you had some questions about the access road that goes back there.
True. We do need access to, we expect to have a gravel road most likely continuing back to the back of that, along the ditch to the back of that property where there's twin pipes that go under the railroad tracks that the city needs to keep maintained.
Isn't there an access there now? Don't you have an easement to that already?
There is an easement there now. I just wanted to make sure or that when you planned to sell these, that the people knew that had to stay as an easement and we couldn't just have access.
You're not asking for any additional, you're just asking for what's already in play, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's already there. I think he just wanted to reiterate that we have to go back there and unclog that. It's the current gravel that's there now.
Do you know what the width of that current easement is?
I think it
We've
shows
got
it's 10 feet, and I think you gave us another
we've got
10.
it, yeah, we've got it shown.
Right.
And then we gave you as much as we could for a turnaround down at the end.
Right, I see that. That's basically was kind of talked about beforehand when it was rezoned.
So are you proposing that you wanna put you wanna put a gravel alley behind it?
That's the need, because we have to get back there.
Then I would propose that if you do put a gravel alley, I would ask that the city maintain that gravel.
Oh, exactly. We'll do
Because,
that.
you know, weeds, things,
It-
I would hate for my mowers to, somebody grab it, throw a rock.
Oh,
and
okay. For
Go through, you know, Farm Bureau or one of the other businesses' windows, or even, God forbid, our windows. That's all I would ask, is that the city maintain that.
Yeah, that's not my, well, as far as I know, that's what we'll do. If we have to, we have to. We maintain the
They check that
ditch.
every 30 days, those pipes anyway, don't they?
Yeah, I think we have to mow the ditch with our own mower system, so.
Perfect, yeah, that's, I mean, I have nothing against you doing that.
And then the other thing I wanted to mention was this is mostly in a flood plain, which is fine. We fill floodplains all the time, but there is a floodway in here also, which is the darker dashed line that you'll see next to the Von Fang ditch. That's gonna be a system where they cannot put any fill dirt on that. So there may be some, it's gonna be tricky to get in to raise something 3 feet and then have no fill directly behind it, so.
I believe Aloma has already been,
Yeah, so we've submitted the LOMA, for some of the ground that's already above.
Brett, could you come up here? 'Cause
Yep.
whoever speaks, we gotta get your name on record, so, sorry.
Brent Stringer, Independent Land Surveying, I'm representing Jonathan, who's on vacation. So, regarding the LOMA, we did submit that. And then the grading plan that we actually did put together for this allows for a slope to go down into to the existing grade without getting into that floodway line. And then the Loma area that has been removed, we did not try to take any of the floodway out. We left leaving the way line where it was at. Some of that ground in that floodway was above the base flood elevation, believe it or not. So we could have actually removed out into that floodway.
Can you give us all what a Loma is?
Yeah, so a letter of map amendment, basically we go in, locate the existing elevations on the ground. And the FEMA establishes a base flood elevation saying that at this elevation, these homes could flood. We go in, we locate that existing grade where nothing's been done to it, no construction activity, no fill, no reduction or any of that. And that ground is found to be above that base flood elevation, and the Loma and the FEMA maps are in error, is basically the way it comes down to. So we submit an application to them showing that land is above the base flood elevation, and we request them to remove that out of their floodplain. And most often than not, we're not met with any resistance. So.
Thank you.
And just to reiterate, the same company that's doing this did the Bryant Boulevard. Same rules applied over there because it was along the same ditch, so they're qualified in what they're doing when they develop this. So. They know the routine.
I will say, if you have any engineering questions, probably best to talk to Chad, but I can answer any of your surveying questions on that survey.
Sorry, you're fine.
thanks, Brett.
Okay, any more questions?
Yeah, other than, I don't have any problem with the way the subdivision's laid out right now. I just wanted to make sure you guys understood that. Seeing how it was so close to that major ditch.
Yeah, and then we got 10 foot that runs along that backside there too, it looks like, just 10 foot on it. Is that what you show?
There's a smaller ditch along the railroad, but like I said, the twin pipes go straight or go across CSX.
Right.
Yeah, I believe the way it reads, you have 10, and then we are giving you an additional 10.
Correct, yeah.
On the railroad tracks too?
On the railroad tracks, there's gonna be we're planning a swale to go around in the back and connect back to the ditch.
Okay.
Obviously some of those pads in the south part will have to be elevated to get them, to the correct
Absolutely.
elevation. Be a slope back down in, so you'll need to get that water around.
Perfect, okay, all right.
A deliberative session? Anybody? Anything?
I'll make a motion to approve. Second that motion.
Okay, everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good vote.
Oh, and vote, sorry. It's been here for a while.
I forgot to write down the case number.
Oh,
Oh,
crap,
gee.
I did too. My bad. Sorry, Brian, we're a little unprepared down here. As usual, you guys sit down and spread out.
Yeah, Jerry, we'll do whatever you say.
Yeah, Jerry, we'll aye if you want it to be aye. You are the president. Whatever you would.
Looks like it's 10-0 vote of approval. So you have been approved, and I know I speak for the whole board and appreciate your investment to the community.
For sure.
Sure.
I just wanted to say thank you, and we're really looking forward to putting that project there, and can't wait for you to see some of the buildings that my wife has sat down and spent hours designing with somebody, so thanks
Man, you
again.
must have really got in trouble this morning. That's like new wife.
Okay, second case.
Okay, the next case we have this evening is PCM 2-25. It is Woodstock North. Steve Ferris is petitioner. Petitioner is requesting a preliminary plat approval on 14th and Shields Avenue. Mr. Ferris, come on up and tell us about your project.
I'm having a very difficult time hearing tonight. I've actually been in the hospital with a viral infection, and I'm trying desperately to hear everybody. I don't know what's going on, but
I'll try to speak up, but they tell me I got a pretty good mouth, so I did figure.
Everyone tells him that.
yeah, we're here to Woodstock North to propose to subdivide that, what a lot of us know is part of the old country club property. I really like the way it turned out. I'd like to compliment Chad. I think he's the 9th engineer that I finally, back in the old day we had Jim Wayman, and I couldn't find anybody to draw it the way I wanted it done like this. And Chad said, absolutely, I'll be glad to take that on. I'm very pleased with the way it turned out, by the way. So, just turned out great. So, we have tried to purchase some of the nearby properties at Tony Schmidt's property, 116, has been condemned for years. I've been after him for a couple of years. We finally got it purchased. We've already got it down. I have talked to Mrs. Reed, Kathy Reed. We're in talks about her property. It's just terrible shape, and just trying to clean up the neighborhood. Certainly we're trying to make money, but we want to leave Seymour better than we found it. I mean, like we have in the past. I've been at it a long time. This will be my 3rd subdivision, and I'm excited about getting on with it. And the difficult part is trying to come up with a plan that is financially feasible for people today. Everything's so high, but that's what we're going to try to do. Try to come up with something that's feasible for people and get on with it. So, if you have a question, I may have to come close to you, so just to hear it, or maybe get Chad's help. But and I would like to say, like Clarence, I'm grateful that you could be at home with your families, but you decided to help be on the planning commission, and I respect you for that. I appreciate that. I never did like being away from home when my kids were little, so I avoided it at all costs, but now some of us have gotten a little bit older.
Looking at me. Just looked at you, Dave. No, just at you.
What'd you say?
Yeah. Anyhow, thank you for your consideration. If anybody has any questions, I'll do my best.
Okay.
We'll get to you.
Is there anybody here to speak in favor? Anybody opposed? No? Okay. Questions by the commission?
I think we've got some questions
Something-
out here, so if you want to go to the public questions, then we'll
Okay. Do you want to come up and,
Yeah.
come up
okay,
and
tell us your
You
name.
want to stay up there just so I can ask? I don't talk loud.
Could you tell us what your name is?
Lindsay Pool.
Okay.
We live across the street.
Lindsay
so-
what?
Pool.
Pool.
This section here, what are you guys planning to do with it?
This is the church area up on the hill.
Okay.
This is 14.
Oh, not this one. This one here, sorry.
This is something that's, I don't know how to use the word, very necessary for retention.
It's a
Block
detention,
A.
you might need to see this.
Something that's
Okay.
like
Yeah, this
required.
might explain it, yeah.
Those are ponds,
Okay.
pond there and a pond in the back. Those are kind of low spots also
Okay.
on the property.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a low spot. Okay.
Oh, fine, you got an even bigger one.
You can have
Bigger one.
Feel free to keep that.
Okay. Will there be anything surrounding it to keep young kids from being able to get into it?
No, you want to tell them how you design ponds?
It'll be
Come up here, tell us your name.
You know
We
the
gotta get it
rules.
on the record.
No one circumvents the rules.
Chad Liner with Independent Land Surveying. It'll be a dry detention basin, so with the exception of rain events, it will be dry,
Okay.
fairly small slopes going into it, mowable. So it'll, then in rain events, it'll hold a little bit of water for a little bit of time and then let it all out in the ditch.
Okay. How will that area be maintained? Like,
Mowed grass.
okay.
Yeah, it'll be a lawn with a little berm and a pipe through it probably.
I had a question about that. I was, because it's going to be a green space, so.
Yes, I mean, it will all be open green space. So
Does it make-
it'll be common area, nothing will be built on it.
Okay.
Usually we require an HOA take care of those detention areas, or a homeowners association be formed. Sometimes we have problems with those being formed, and we're working on that issue where I think we only have like 4 in the city, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a big deal for the city. All these are set up, and I think you, Chad, you know, we set them up, but they have to be activated, and that's something that we'll try to push more on, because that's how these get maintained, because they have to be mowed a couple times a year, and the city can't do everything, so we kind of expect the homeowners association or the owner of the subdivision to do that until the lots are sold.
Okay.
I have a couple questions on that same issue, and that is that phase 2 in that part?
Well, the one behind this will be done with phase 1, and then
Okay.
this one will be done with phase 2.
Okay.
That was gonna be a question I had. Are we phasing this subdivision?
Yes.
Okay, which part are we asking for tonight? What,
Can we get approval for all of it?
you can, but we need the terms of the phasing, like when the phasing's gonna be. You know what I mean? I think we could approve it all tonight, but we need to have something on record of phase 1 will be done.
Timeline.
Yes, timeline.
Phase 1 can be done with no additional infrastructure improvements. So phase 1, he could, as soon as it's approved, could, with the exception of the detention basin and getting approval from the city,
So phase 1 would be on the current streets that are there now.
yes, along
Got it.
14th and along Shields.
That's kind of what I figured.
And then the Woodstock Court building of it would be phase 2.
Okay.
Have you thought about timeline at all?
No,
I mean,
no.
what, 2 years? I mean, to build the first phase out,
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
ballpark, something like that, Jeremy?
Yeah, and I think we can do that, but we need some financial guarantees in place, like we always do for,
We'll just do the final plat on the first phase.
Okay.
So we won't final plat the second until we go to do it and give you the guarantees at that time, or he'll do a bill and dedicate.
Okay.
Does that work?
That works.
And I would like to mention to you what I'm thinking of, sorry. I've read where retention ponds have been a real problem, with kids getting in them and drowning, and that was a concern of mine. But we're told what we have to do, and I don't know what an alternative would be, but that was one of my concerns about children. You know, you can't guard the thing 24/7. So that was one of the issues I personally was concerned about, but we're dictated by the feds, is that fair to say? We have to do what they tell us. Right?
Well, we just have to, it's all about downstream flooding. You know, if you start flooding people downstream, then you've got that same problem. This is a way to keep that from happening. Yeah, it's kind of a pain, we understand that, but it's the best
Mostly
solution.
big
we have.
rain events or things of that nature is really.
Yeah,
where
this
those
would be
come in.
similar to what they have out the high school in between the diamond and the soccer field, right?
Yeah, Reading,
Just for-
Reading School,
Yeah.
north side of Reading.
Just for clarification, that
Yeah.
you have an idea what it's gonna look like.
Yeah, the good news is we have so much sand here in Seymour that it's between the, you have maybe an hour or two after a major rain event that it may fill up, but they come down fairly quickly and, yeah, hopefully your kids aren't out in the driving storm, but I know I've done that before. We all, it
It was last
depends
week.
on when it
Last
was.
week, Bernie.
Way to go. Last week.
So anyhow, that's all I got right now.
I had one more question too.
I did have one more thing I wanted to tell the neighbors, sorry.
You're-
It's looked pretty bad last 2 years. One of the issues was finding an engineering firm, because there's things that we have to have in place, like erosion control before we can touch anything. I'd actually been over there working, and I guess to some degree I wasn't supposed to, we hauled all that dirt off, gave it to Bob Woodard. We knocked all those trees down and pulled the stumps out. We were trying to do what we could till we got over Chad and finally said, yeah, we'll do it this way. I agree that it looks terrible, and I wish I could dress it up right now, but we have to go through the process. But I promise you, when we're done, you'll be proud of it.
Can I ask a question, Steve? You're selling the homes, correct? So the lots are what size?
What are they,
60
6,000
by
square feet
120.
minimum?
So the lot size are very similar to what's in the neighborhood now, correct? So we're not overcrowding that neighborhood, correct? Because we're doing lots compared to what's there.
Right.
I mean, I say we, I mean you, but as a contractor, as a builder.
I was
Okay,
gonna say,
so,
like, our house is on 2.5 lots, and the
Yeah.
house next to, or the church is on 2.5 lots.
Yeah.
So it just will look a little different looking out the front.
You live next to John Byer.
Yeah.
I actually, just so you know, I have my name in the hat for his place when he passes on. Our intention is to beautify the neighborhood and try to make money too. I mean, that's the goal. We wanna clean the place up. It looks terrible, honestly. I mean, someone's here and owns one of those, you have to back up, see, that looks bad. Mr. Snett,
What?
and the next two guys. It's pretty bad. And the city's doing all they can. Their hands are a little tied, but, I didn't know till last 6 months that condemnation really doesn't mean anything other than people can't frequent the building. That Smith place is.
It looks much better now.
Did you have another question?
Yes, my question was about traffic flow, because it is kind of a tighter road. What will that look like as far as parking for all the new houses?
Well, there'll be off-street parking, but,
Will there be driveways for them or no?
well, it's a dead-end street, so I would say the only people that are gonna traffic the property will be the homeowners.
You plan on having off-street parking for them?
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Okay, that's, yeah, my question, because I was like, that's what, 22 new houses?
Yes.
So that's a lot of extra traffic
Well,
on
it's-
that road.
I could answer that. They will all have to have driveways.
Yes, they all have to have driveways.
What do you mean?
You would be welcome to call me anytime, Chad, Self, the city officials.
Name's Jason Poole. What does that do to our side of the street as far as parking? Would that subdivision require us to park in our driveways?
I don't think so.
I honestly don't think that your side would change. I mean, there's no requirement for existing homes to change the way they're doing, correct, Jeremy?
Right.
Is the plan, once those spots are bought out on our side of the street, to build there as well?
I hope to, yeah. Let me get just a little bit further there.
Yeah, that's a big project, huh?
Well, I suppose it's a personal quirk. I wanna do some cleaning up first. Maybe it's me. I hate to put a $200,000 house next to landfill. I don't know how else to say it, but I want to just clean up. some plans to really do some. Deep trimming, cleaning.
There's some properties that are just.
Does anybody on the board have any questions for me while I'm up here? Go for it, dare you.
You don't let it dare.
Just afraid of you.
Just for the record, I was concerned about the drainage going, how it was getting under the railroad tracks, and if there was going to be some kind of a dam there created by the where the detention ponds come through. Well, I walked the ditch, and I found out that it turns and goes
300 feet north.
a couple hundred feet,
Yeah.
300 feet to the north. So I don't see an issue with flooding concerns from the railroad tracks.
And we're not putting any type of drainage structures in that creek, so we'll stay out of it.
There are some, the existing creek has some baffles, as best I can say, in there. I'm not real sure what the purpose of those were.
Check dams to try and keep water in there.
Are those gonna stay, or are you gonna take those out?
Say that again?
Those, probably riprap.
Yeah, that was dammed up intentionally by the country club.
Are you gonna pull those back out?
See,
or-
I attempted to clean that and I was told I couldn't touch it. We wanted to have a guy come in and dip that out all the way clean, beautify it, but drainage and all that, and I was told I couldn't touch it.
Okay.
Look at me, I wouldn't make.
Who told you that, Steve?
I'd have to think about that. I wouldn't wanna tell you wrong, but
I think we'd have to look at the existing classification of it with IDEM and the current,
Get with Bernie and check into
and the
that.
current EPA regulations on wetland
Right.
stuff, so.
Bernie would be up on the,
which is ever
that's a
changing.
legal drain and all the rules, so. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Deliberative session, do we need a deliberative session?
Hold on, let's go ahead and do
Oh,
this one last.
I'm sorry.
One more question. What style houses are you planning on building? Are they siding, bricked, or what's your
I'm
intention?
not sure just yet. I wanna get my wife and daughter involved because they're very creative and I'm not. And, you know, they've got some pretty cool ideas that I like. I don't know if it'll work financially, but kind of this new age, you know, you'll be happy with it, I promise, whatever we do, you know.
We kind of joke if you wanted to make ours match, or.
She said you're gonna reside their house for them.
My kids live across from my shop. My oldest daughter, so that give you an idea if you know where my shop is. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're talking about. Yeah. It's against my normal way.
Okay.
But I wanted that to.
Ready for a vote?
Everybody seems
So
to
what
be
do
going
you
that
want me to go to?
direction.
Go to the vote, straight to the vote. Just any person with more questions or board. Okay, any more questions for anybody? No? Okay, we'll vote at this time.
Okay, you need a motion. Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I was trying to do it right this time. Hey,
I'll make a motion to approve. Got a second, Brian?
thank you.
Come on, man, check your box.
I didn't know what I was going on. It's getting out of control. Remind me, that's what Channel 11 News is gonna say.
Out of practice. I have my own board.
They put that line right in this property
Obviously,
line right down the
practice.
swale, so I have to get permission.
And then you got here.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Has been approved 10-0, 1 absent. And once again, Steve, we appreciate your investment to the community.
Very much. Yes, thank you.
I don't,
Anything else?
I do not have anything else unless the board does.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Second. Everyone in favor say aye.
Aye.
I made it.
Don't run off.
Please don't run off, you guys. I wanted to share some treats.
It's not Christmas.
Must be.
It's the spring stuff, most
This is
early, it's
the
not the
early
winter
spring,
stuff.
going like this, 'cause I know then you got some.